If you know me or have kept up with my channel, which if you have, thank you a lot, you would know I'm not the biggest fan of Netflix DMC. I even made this video talking about how I had no hopes for this season being good. But hey, it finally came out. I will binge watch it and give you small reviews of each episode as I go along, and finally ending with my overall thoughts. Enough yapping though, let's get into it.
Call me lady.
Man, shut the fuck up! To be completely honest, I expected it to start in a way worse way. However, I don't want you to think that somehow that makes it any good. The first half of the episode covers the US Army fighting a hopeless battle, or you would think it was hopeless, to kill Goliath. You know, that one demon from DMC5 that Nero fought. Which for some reason, there are Scudo Angelos in this fight, who shouldn't even exist yet, but hell, what do I know. There's also this little moment where Beowulf walks by Lady while she's invisible, even though I feel like he should smell her right away, you know, since they made such a big point of that in DMC3 that he can smell Dante and Virgil pretty damn easily. Whatever, I guess. Character trait consistency isn't a thing. Then we get this little scene of Lady fighting what looks like an Antinora, but I don't think it is, and one soldier shooting a rocket into Goliath's belly mouth and killing him. Yes, you heard me right. The same Goliath that absorbs anything and everything into his stomach to shoot out. I should have known from this moment. I mean, season 1 was enough of a warning that these writers, or at least Adi, does not give a damn about the source material. But I guess, you know, I forgot. It has been quite a while since season 1. So I just wasn't prepared. But this is just the beginning. This is just a taste of the debauchery you're gonna witness in this season. Anyways, Mundus kills everything. Lady steals a cup that supposedly when joined with the rest of the Dragon Balls can kill Mundus. We see Virgil meet this woman who at first I thought was Lucia, but it seems like this is a new character, or at least something from DMC2, which by the way I did play DMC2 but I didn't care to finish it, so maybe it's something that appears there. Anyways, this is clearly all just set up to make Virgil come to Earth, because Virgil hates Ares' organization, or at least what it stands for, you know, that Ouroboros symbol, the snake eating its own tail. The reason as to why hasn't been revealed yet, but I'm sure I'll get to know it pretty soon. We see Jester for a bit, which, after hearing this line from Baines,
"It's time we told her about her father,"
makes me think this is just Arkham again, which, just let me say, it's gonna be so damn underwhelming. The reason this twist worked in DMC3 is because you see these two characters throughout the story. In the show, Arkham is supposed to be dead, so it's just gonna be a stupid plot point. We get a decent conversation between Jester and Virgil, which is actually fairly interesting, where we also get a nod to the Virgil plastic chair meme, which I actually don't hate. I've seen a lot of people shit on it, rightfully so. I do get why, because it is just like one of those things that LARPers just latch onto. But in my opinion, Virgil doesn't sit on it, so it's not that on the nose, it's not that crazy. It's Jester the one that sits on it. And to me, you know, that's fitting. That's something Jester would definitely do, so that makes me slightly tolerate it. But yeah, after this whole conversation, Virgil comes to Earth, and the final moments of the episode is just this fight with a bunch of soldiers, which in my opinion shouldn't have even gotten this bad for Virgil. Like, what would he have done if he got shot? He got completely captured. Is he stupid? Also, this might be a nitpick. I don't care how you look at it, but to me, this is character assassination. Look at this. Notice anything weird? Virgil is grabbing his summon sword and throwing it. He would never do that! That's like his whole damn flow, you imbeciles! The whole point is that Virgil is just way too cool to care. He would never physically have to throw these. This is character assassination!
storm they ride into. I am that storm.
The first 10 minutes of this episode establishes that they couldn't capture Virgil because Arius is a moron, so they want to wake up Dante to subdue Virgil. To which they give him an admittedly pretty cool hallucination sequence and a waking up sequence, but then they proceed to completely shit on it with the absolutely horrid "I am that storm" from Virgil. God, I hate it! He would never say that. Furthermore, he currently isn't in the state to say that. The whole reason this theme have these lyrics is because of the story of DMC5, because of how after all that torture, the trauma, the nightmares, he is able to accept his humanity. Putting this theme this early in his story without all the baggage and the development that comes with it is purely fan service. Except that it isn't good fan service, because this is only for the people who don't understand the character and only know him from the Bury the Light combo video and TikTok. Rant over. After that whole insult to Virgil's character, we get this whole thing where Lady finally talks to Dante when he wakes up. And we get these different accounts from both of them. Dante's being goofy and pretty humorous, and Lady's being a bit more melodramatic, which conclude in a pretty good scene of Dante's actual reaction to Virgil. Moments like this make me see the potential this show has, which is constantly squandered by the writers. But I digress. After that pretty good scene, we get some slight exposition on Arius and the whole tactical reload scene, which I was actually part of the group of people who didn't entirely hate it. I mean, just because Dante doesn't reload in the games doesn't mean he can't practice reloading some guns outside of combat. So I wasn't all that mad with this scene until this stupid ass face from Lady, which is just the craziest case of meat writing ever. You've seen him do things like this before. It really isn't all that, but let's move on to what I think is another cool scene, which is the whole Virgil on TV scene. Now, aside from how stupid and funny the idea is, I think the idea is executed fairly well. If you ignore the complete and utter misunderstanding of all the themes DMC sets up and only focus on the story the show is trying to tell, it ends up serving as pretty good tension, especially since Arius just gets exposed, which I didn't think would be happening so early. But yeah, the rest of this episode is just Virgil pulling an invincible and Dante switching out from the worst costume ever to the second worst costume ever.
Come on, Hellblood. I can beat this hedgehog here, motherfucker.
Please shut your goddamn mouth! We start this episode with a pretty long flashback showing the struggles of Virgil's childhood and how Dante was better than him in everything. Then we get the scene of the attack on the Sparta household, which I think is the best depiction we've gotten of it so far. The only issue I see with it is the whole absence of the Yamato and Virgil's awakening. Virgil's need for power is vital to his character. It is what his whole life is built on. So to see it pushed away in favor of Mundus giving it to him? Absolutely ridiculous. That's not to say it's a bad idea, because I do like the idea that Mundus is brainwashing Virgil this way. I just don't like how such an important part of the character is being pushed away in favor of something weaker. We then get what I assume is going to be the first fight between Virgil and Dante, which starts off with some pretty concerning dialogue implying Sparta wasn't all that good, which, oh, if this show goes that route, I swear to God! But anyways, the animation is pretty good, as always, and the choreography is pretty decent. Questionable dialogue options aside, I was actually enjoying the fight quite a bit. The soundtrack was fire. We kept getting more Lady and Dante romance hints, which just makes me groan in disappointment, and then we get the worst line of dialogue of all time.
Come on, Hellblood. I can beat this hedgehog here, motherfucker.
Somebody please take the pen away from Adi Shankar. Virgil steals Dante's gun, which he would never do in this situation, by the way. And we get this awesome visual of what a charged shot with ebony and ivory looks like, and then another horrible misuse of Bury the Light. Go back to the minute 451 if you want a refresher on why it's such a horrible misuse. We then get the stupidest line of all time, part 2, in...
Guy just went through my whole team in 2 fighter jets, and he just took down the hybrid.
The hybrid wasn't using a machine gun.
We also get a pretty raw moment of Virgil getting impaled so he can fulfill the contract-mandated Dante being impaled scene. Virgil surprisingly spares humans, and then we get the reveal that Arius was actually really powerful all along, and we get the setup for the next fight in the next episode.
Devils don't cry, Virgil.
Then I'll kill the boy who did.
We start with another flashback of Virgil's training with Mundus, where we then go back to the fight with Arius and Virgil, where he gives some exposition and also explaining what the story was setting up for the people who don't pay attention, in the way of Mundus not letting the demons talk before dying, and the red-haired girl. We ultimately just get to see Argosax, and his design is cool. We then see that Dante needs help out of getting impaled for some reason, when most of the time he gets out of it himself, but you know, it's just the usual main character nerfing Adi animation goes for. Arius gets his arm cut off and escapes, but Lentil, Virgilio, and Diente go after him. We then get more exposition on Arius' plan, more propaganda trying to say Sparta was bad somehow, and some flashbacks of Arius' tragic backstory. Overall, nothing all that interesting, it's just a bunch of setup and arguing. The president gets killed and Baines takes his place. We then proceed to see a little hallucination with Lady that confirms Jester is Arkham due to the eye color, and that's about it. We get an alright fight. We see Virgilio being a prideful bum and tossing out Lentil and Diente out to then get tossed out by Arius, where we find out Dante actually took away an Arcana and stalled Arius, which is a cool bait and switch moment that immediately gets undercut by what has to be the worst scene in the show until now. The Diente and Mary kiss. God, it's so stupid. Make it clear, I'm not one of these people that just swears up and down that Lady is lesbian and should be with Nico or anything like that. I just don't think she should be with Dante. They have always bonded through their shared familial trauma, and beyond that, I just don't think Lady would ever see Dante as anything more than a platonic friend. It is straight up dismissive of the source material, as the whole show has been so far, and just a ship that I don't agree with. Also, it was written like shit. There was practically no build up to this. I don't feel like Dante would be comfortable with kissing a woman that has tried to kill him so many times, and he would definitely not be as chill with it as he seems to be. This overall is just an affront to everything DMC stands for, and I hate it. We start off with yet another flashback, seems to be a trend at this point, in which we see Dante and Enzo collecting their payment from a job from a guy called Lucan, who happens to be voiced by the absolute legend Keith David, who's just always such a treat to the ears. All we get from this really is that Lucan knows Sparta and knows that Dante is the son of Sparta. We then cut back to the worst scene of all time, where Lady remembers she's a girl boss and throws Dante on the ground right after forcing him to the kiss in the first place.
Incredible.
They argue a bit, grab a bike from the truck, and then drive to Lucan's house and ask him to destroy the Arcana that Dante got. So he kindly asks them to fuck off for 8 hours, in which time Lucan's granddaughter dresses Dante up as Chun-Li and finally gives Lady a decent outfit to wear. We then get a little yap scene with Dante and Mary, where we get more ham-fisted development, which then transitions into another kiss and the implication that they fucked, which is just... oh, I don't even want to waste my breath on it. Anyways, Arius and his clones arrive, big fight breaks out, yada yada yada. Dante is useless, like always, until he gets his big emotional DT power-up, which is followed yet again, like in Season 1, with Devil Trigger, which is Nero's theme, not Dante's. There's like 20 Dante songs you can choose, but no, here at Adi Shankar's LARPer Central, we choose shit without thinking. After this extremely short aura farming sesh, Lady gets beat within an inch of her life, which obviously disarms Dante. Arius threatens Lucan's granddaughter, which causes him to give up the Arcana and get killed, and that's basically it. Honestly, not that bad of an episode, decent action, just not really a whole lot for the plot. We start off with another oh, wait, not actually a flashback. We just see Lady getting healed. Oh, come on, it's too much at this point! Insane flashback spam aside, this flashback mainly just shows how Baines met Lady, and also the fact that she managed to kill a Fallen, aka the worst enemy in Devil May Cry 3. Mary tries and fails to convince Baines, but he's the average Christian. Dante is held captive by Arius. We see Virgil fistfight with some demons for Dante's locket in this dimension, very reminiscent of the boss rush level in DMC3. And quick aside, it's a bit disappointing that one of the only times we see Virgil fully disarmed, he has no interesting hand-to-hand fighting, just some basic ass regular punches. Huge missed opportunity, I'd say. Even in his later fight, it really isn't all that technical. Dante gets plugged into this weird machine that shows him how Argosax was overthrown, the Dragon Balls get spread, and how Arius found one, which sent him on his 600-year plus quest to resurrect Argosax, which, jokes aside, I think is a very cool idea and makes Arius 100 times cooler than he was before. We see Virgil saving the girl, getting his sword back. They try to go for this God of War 2018 type of vibe with both of them, which I don't entirely hate. Mary is still trying to tell a Christian being gay isn't a sin, and he reveals to her that her father is alive. Surprise, surprise. Dante rage baits Arius, fights him, and dies. Just kidding, he gets his shit Richthofened. Virgil is making his way to Trismagia with girl Atreus, and when she trauma dumps that her grandpa died, saving her, he remembers he is contractually obligated to use a line from the game so people can go,
Without strength, without power, you cannot protect anything.
but the line obviously has no substance because it is said in the wrong context. Trismagia captures Virgil into the fight, and then we cut away to Baines confronting Arius, to which he responds by turning his guards into Pyrocynical's wet dream. Lady comes in, but it's too late and Baines dies, which low-key just reminds me of how Kevin Conroy voiced him in Season 1, and it's tragic that we lost the legend so soon. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. You made my childhood. But yeah, Arius turns into Argosax, and it does look cool. I will admit the design translates very well into the show's art style, and it does have corn in the background, which is always a win. But yeah, that's it. The episode just cuts.
Such slaughter. At last. No. We're the sons of Ava.
This nigga is trash.
We actually start off with the Trismagia fight this time. Not a single flashback in sight. God damn it!
Enough!
With the flashbacks! I mean, technically not all of it is a flashback, it's also part hallucination, but come on, get some fucking originality in your structure! Anyways, Virgil finds out what we have been knowing, that Mundus killed his mom, not Argo Ballsack, and he yells at Matilda. We then switch back to the city where we see Ariusax sucking people off, so Dante and Lady decide he should stop the sucking. And Mary needs to stop the red-headed secretary from opening the gateway to Makai. We get some action and a reference to the Dante rocket ride, which isn't anywhere near as cool as it was in DMC3. Dante makes his best Deadpool jokes, and then there's a little scuffle. Lady's doing the exact same with her old team at the same time. Her team are a bunch of brainless morons, so that one football dude has to help her. They keep fighting, we get a 6-7 joke, and then we go back to Dante, who dies. Until Virgil saves him, because we should just call Dante Mark Grayson at this point with how he can't win a single fight without help. Lady meets back up with Redhead, who tries to appeal to her Hot Topic loving side, which obviously doesn't work. So they fight and we cut back to Dante and Virgil, where Virgin makes it very clear that they could only defeat Argosax with their combined strength. Yet he fucks up by himself anyways. To be fair, I like that they specify that Virgil's Nilo Angelo form isn't his DT. It's still stupid that he can just freely change into that form, but I'm at least glad they specified that it isn't his final form. His actual DT though, I mean, it's alright, but anyways, Virgil predictably almost dies, but thankfully Dante saw Krillin explode, so he just magically knows how to control his DT now. He saves Virgil and delivers a line that I think embodies what this show is at this point.
We're the sons of Ava.
Aside from how utterly idiotic this line is, I get what they were going for, and honestly, I don't entirely hate the idea. It's just how they have been undermining and shitting on Sparta's legend since the start, and now they hit you with this bullshit which just solidifies how much animosity Adi holds for the actual franchise. The lack of understanding of the themes in the game is only second to Rakai's reading comprehension. After that travesty, we get a really cool callback to the opening of DMC3 where Dante shoots a jukebox and plays the same theme. Anyways, Dante and Virgil fight, don't manage much. Lady kills a clone of the redhead, but Matilda gets the final shot on the real one and starts swearing, to which Lady says,
Kid, you shouldn't, swear. It's bad.
Which I don't know if the writers are being self-aware with this or if they're just stupid. Either way, they are still guilty of each and every stupid insult Mary shouts, so I have no sympathy left for them. I also want to highlight that when Maddie starts crying, which is pretty reasonable, since she is a very young child who just saw her only family murdered in front of her, trying to save her a few hours ago, Mary tells her the equivalent of, just don't be sad, and it actually works. God, these writers. Anyways, Dante comes up with the idea of opening the rift to Makai to make Mundus kill Argus. So Lady opens it, and then they proceed to try and recreate the double shot scene between Virgil and Dante, but completely butcher everything that made it cool in the first place. There's no cool movement and pose, no interesting build-up, and worst of all, Virgil doesn't even say jackpot. The thing that ties this whole moment together and makes it as memorable as it is gets completely thrown out the window in favor of referencing the ending of DMC5, I guess. I swear, Addy is such a hack.
You are me, and I am you.
This episode actually starts off with, you know the drill by now, it's another fucking flashback. I mean, seriously, the only one that didn't start with it was the first one. But this time, I can actually get behind this, since it actually depicts Sparta's rebellion and fight with Mundus, which, if I'm not wrong, is the only time we've ever seen this in the whole franchise. Anyways, after the flashback, we just see Beowulf telling Mundus that Virgil's channel hit 1 million subscribers, to which Mundus doesn't give a damn. But I actually want to take this moment to mention how much I hate Beowulf's design in this show. Not just the design, the voice too. I mean, I get he was hard to understand in DMC3. I mean, I was a victim of that. But his flow is iconic. This is just ridiculous. Anyways, we catch up to when Argoball Sack is thrown into Makai, where Dante and Virgil give chase. Mundus comes in and clashes with Argosax, where I'm gonna give credit, the fight was actually pretty good. But then after the dust is settled, we get what I feared would come. The final dismantling and shitting on Sparta's name. Mundus claims he never loved Eva, and only saw humans as ants you look at when you're bored. He even said that to Sparta himself, Eva was just an eye-catching bauble, which is so disrespectful. He says that Sparta created the barrier to protect humanity, not for humanity's sake, but for Mundus, for some odd reason that I feel like the show does not explain very well. All of this just serves to completely defecate and tarnish the entire point of the Devil May Cry franchise at its core. The idea that a devil can become a human, that a demon can love, is just thrown away. The core of it, the foundation of it, literally just vomited and pissed on. And it is nothing short of blasphemy. Virgil and Dante decide to start killing all of Mundus' henchmen until they finally get to the Devil's Sword Sparta, and we are forced to have our obligated final boss with Virgil. Which, come on, obviously Dante is gonna lose because Netflix Dante cannot win a single fight ever. Virgil bastardizes yet another amazing line from the games.
At night, if our positions were switched, would our fates be different? Would I have your life, and you mine?
I mean, honestly, this is just another case of rushing things because they're popular. The reason this line hits so hard in Devil May Cry 5 is because it comes after Virgil's whole arc with V. It shows something Virgil would never do, which is retrospect. It's thinking back on the past. Virgil, especially young Virgil, would never do that. He is a person that is so stuck on the future and just progressing. And that after finally going through this whole odyssey and getting back in touch with his humanity, he takes the time to sit at the top of the Qliphoth and think on the past, on what would have happened. You know, would I have your life and you mine? That is why it's so good. And then Addy just saw the popular clip on TikTok and they said, oh, we have to put that somewhere, so I guess we might as well just put it right after Virgil wins. It's so stupid, I swear to God. And you just know these fucking idiots who haven't played the games are just gonna gobble it up like they always do. We piggies love the slop. Virgil sends Dante back to Earth with the amulet. Mundus gets pissy and asks Virgil why he decided to close the rift, to which he answers that Earth will be invaded, but with Virgil as the king. So their fight starts, the blades clash, and it's all so hot. But yeah, we just cut to Lady, just like that. She pretends to understand the themes of the story before leaving Dante behind again, and revealing that Arkham was Jester, which, come on man, this shit was obvious as fuck. And then we see Dante crying with Shall Never Surrender playing, which is actually a pretty good music choice all things considered. But yeah, it it just ends right there. I mean, yeah, there's a little like videotape, I guess, with Kid, Virgil, and Dante, but that's basically it. Not really a close shut ending, which, I mean, it's obvious. It's pretty clear they're gonna continue the show. But yeah, let's delve deeper into that now in the conclusion.
It's like staring into a backed up toilet.
I wish I could say I enjoyed watching this or that it added substance to the franchise in some way, but I'm not a liar, and I don't plan on starting now. I never liked this show, and this season didn't move the needle even a little bit. If anything, if it did move the needle, it was backwards. Since before watching it, I already knew it was gonna be awful. It wasn't gonna handle any of the criticism from the first season because it was pretty obvious that they were both worked on near simultaneously. But after watching it, I can't help but feel vindicated in my assessment. The fights were decent, the animation was good, and the performances were good enough. This show just suffers from how much it wants to run away from the source material and spit on it. Better channels than me have gone into more detail, and I frankly don't think I'm capable of doing it. I really just wanted to show, even if it's one person, that this show isn't as good as your friends and family might tell you. It is an affront to everything the game's built, and I find it insulting. I understand why people like this show, however, I am yet to meet someone that has played the games and claimed the show was better. And if you do think that way, I'm sorry that you were dropped as a kid. I hope you make a full recovery someday. Don't support this dog shit and play the games if you haven't already. They're masterpieces. Except 2, don't play 2. But yeah, if you're still watching, thank you so damn much. You have no idea how much it means to me. This is easily my biggest project so far, and it's taken so much out of me. So if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe so I can one day make more. I love all of you, even the ones that hate me, and I hope you have an amazing day.